evening, good evening, good evening to you. It is Wednesday, the 20th of September, and it's Annie Bennett here, talking to you in the Home Baking Business Community UK, or on my Facebook page, Annie Bennett Business, or in my lovely membership, the Home Baking Professional Society. How are we this evening? If you are watching, I think there's some people watching, do come and say hello. Give me a comment or two. Just to say hello, or a nice emoji or a wave. Okay, I'm not going to be very long this evening. I am going away on Saturday for a week, and I've got so much to do. I can't tell you. It's all been a bit hectic this week, trying to get everything ready. So it's not going to be a long one this evening. Not that it needs to be a long one this evening, because it's sort of a roundup of the past couple of weeks. My aim for September was to just put some content out there to really support businesses that are thinking that, they might have to stop or quit or do something else. And I'm really, really passionate about trying to help people stay in business and find ways that they can make their businesses work. I'm someone who was employed for over 30 years in the same profession. And by the end of it, I was so passionate about getting out. I would have done anything. And I'm very passionate about not having to go back to that profession. So much so that I will do, what it takes to make my business work. Oh, hello, Maria. Hello, my lovely. Nice to see you here. So I'm aware that there are lots of people that are in that position that, don't want to go back to perhaps previous careers or whatever circumstances they were in, and they really want to build a business. And current circumstances, let's just say they're not helpful at the moment, are they? But there are ways that you can, that businesses can survive through all this. It's just a question of being determined. My three favourite words: determination, perseverance, and resilience. I always say this. If you've got those three, if you're really determined to make something work, then it will. So over the last couple of weeks, I've talked to you a bit about making alternative income. So as well as just the baking, there are other things that you can do to sort of drill into that knowledge that you have of baking. So you can do all sorts of things. So have a look at the first September session a couple of weeks ago. And then I talked the week after that about finding new audiences and new clients and new customers for those new products that you're going to create. And in fact, for things that you bake, you've got to have an audience to sell them to. Not like me when I first started my business many years ago. It was Instagram was around then, it wasn't the age of the dinosaurs or anything like that. But I had no clue. I thought that putting a post up on Instagram, everyone would see it and they'd flock to buy my things. And as most of us know, that really doesn't work, does it? You've got to be a lot more proactive than that. You've got to go and find your customers. You can't just sit there and expect them to come to you. You've got to go out and find them. And you've got to be active in doing that. So have a look at my finding clients and customers. That was a couple of weeks ago. That was. Last week, I talked a little bit about higher end baking. For some people, wedding cakes are really a much more high profit making exercise. If you can get into wedding cakes, you will find that there is much more potential in higher profits for wedding cakes. I love making wedding cakes. I absolutely adore it. Yes, it is stressful, but there are ways that you can bring the stress levels down. It doesn't have to be high tension the whole time. So I talked about that last week. So have a look at last week's. All the links for my previous blogs are in this week's blog, which will be going up either tonight, depending on how much else I get done, or tomorrow morning. I'll put it in the group. I'll even pop it in emails for you if you're on my email list. So you can read all about those. So this week I'm sort of bringing it all together, and I'm really stressing tonight the fact that you've got to have some sort of plan with all this. And this is stuff that I didn't know when I first started out. So I'm sort of telling you what I wish I'd known when I first started my business, if it's at all helpful. I hope it is. You've got a plan. You've got to plan. You've got to have a strategy. And I always think it's like, when you go on holiday. I'm going on holiday on Saturday and I absolutely can't wait. But what I'm not going to do on Saturday is get in the car and go, oh, right, where are we going then? Should we go down this road? Should we turn left or right here? I don't know. Let's turn left and see where we end up. Because if you do that for a holiday, where are you no idea where you're going to end up. What you've got to do when you go on holiday is you've got to work out your destination first. So in my case, Greece. Oh, can't wait. And then once you've worked out your destination, you then work out how to get there. It seems a really simple analogy, but it's so true. In business, I've had people say to me, oh, you can't control how many customers you have. To a certain extent, you can, because you go out and find them. You go out and you present what you're selling to the right people. And they're more likely to buy from you. You're increasing your odds of selling if you're presenting to the right people. Look at my ideal clients blog for that, and look at anything I've done on social media, because I talk about that there. How to use social media, how to get people engaged in social media, that kind of thing. So you've got to have some kind of strategy. Okay. Now, in business, again, I didn't know this when I first started, because the profession I was in was nothing to do with business. I was a teacher, so nothing to do with business, which actually, as a side, is a crime, because children should be taught about how business works. But let's not go down that route right now. Businesses are now entering what's known as Q4. The year is generally for businesses split up into four quarters, so 3 months each. And we're now entering Q4. First of all, October. So it's October, November, December is Q4, the end of the calendar year. So what a lot of businesses are doing now is that they're looking at Q3, how it went, what they did that worked, what they did that didn't work, how they're going to adapt. And then they're looking at what their targets are for Q4. What do they hope to achieve in Q4? And this is what I'm talking about this evening. So the first thing to do in your business is to think, and this might sound a bit daft, but it really works, is to think about where you want to end up. In other words, how much do you want to have earned? How much do you need to earn? It might be a question of you need to pay the mortgage or the rent or the bills or whatever it is. Add up what it is you need to earn. Okay. Then once you know that, you know what you're aiming for as a sales target. You can then sort of split it up into months and then weeks, and then say, okay, I've got to sell this much in a week. How am I going to do that? What am I going to sell? Okay. So, how many brownie boxes have I got to sell? How many birthday cakes have I got to sell? How many wedding cakes have I got to sell? I do my wedding cakes actually over the year, because as you can probably realize that it's seasonal, very much, weddings. So I tend to concentrate on sort of April to September. And because I do so many other things, I tend not to do too many in the winter. I keep that to all my other bits and pieces. But I spread my targets out for the year for wedding cakes. But I have a target of the number that I want to hit and the amount that I want to earn from that. Once you have that idea, once you have that target, you can think, right, okay, let's say that in a week, your plan is to sell, I don't know, 20 brownie boxes. I don't know, I'm just plucking a number out the top of my head. I've got to sell 20 brownie boxes to hit my sales target. So what am I going to do that? As I said just now, just putting up an advert saying, my brownie boxes are for sale. Tumbleweed, crickets. You might get a few people on your Insta who follow you who might be interested in a brownie box, but you've got to be a lot more proactive than that. You've got to go out and find them. And this is how you can sort of control your sales targets a bit. You've got to go out. So are you on social media engaging with accounts where your likely customers are going to be? Are you going into Facebook groups and talking about not necessarily just selling all the time, because lots of Facebook groups don't like that, but helping people to buy? I was once told that a good salesperson doesn't sell, they help people to buy. If you are helpful, if you are supportive to people, if you are engaging and friendly and likable, then people will gravitate towards you. It's the know, like, and trust factor. And even if they don't want what you're selling there and then, they might know someone who does. They might remember you for when they do. You will stick in their minds. Okay. And then word spreads. And that's sort of how it works. So you've got to be proactive. You've got to get out there. So look at your 3 months. What do I want to sell by the end of the year? What is that in a month? It might be that you're going to do Christmas things. Are you going to do Christmas products? Are you going to do, I know lots of bakers do Halloween products. Everyone's already talking about it, which is brilliant. Because when you launch products, when you bring products out, you've got to have at least 4 weeks, if not 6 weeks. You've got to give people the idea of that's what they want. Halloween treat boxes is just what your children want, isn't it? And talk about them. And then, so get it into your audience's head that, oh yeah, that's a good idea. I've not thought of doing that. Oh yeah, I like that. And then you can go into the selling of them. It's all to do with your strategy. If a week before Halloween, you suddenly put up a post, I've got treat boxes for sale, the chances are that anyone who wants a treat box has already got it from somewhere else. So you've got to have a bit more of a strategy. How am I going to work this? How am I going to do this? And the same for Christmas. I've seen over the last couple of years, Christmas Eve elf boxes are getting quite popular. And the elf on the shelf, just be careful with copyright there with elf on the shelf, because it is copyrighted. But that kind of vibe, you've got to put it into your customer's head that this is a really good idea. The other thing with sales, I'm sort of branching into sales here a bit, aren't I? Is I've completely forgotten what I was going to say now. my brain is going to a dozen. It'll come back to me in a second. So you've got to know where you're going, and you've got to put the idea in people's heads by engaging with them, giving them the idea. That was it. That's what I was going to say. You solve a problem. All sales solve a problem. Okay. So with my wedding cakes, the problem that that my couples have is that they can't make wedding cakes. It's as simple as that. They don't know anyone that can make a cake for them, so they need a professional to do it for them. Okay, that's the problem. So with things like treat boxes, the problem is have you got busy parents who haven't got time to make things for their child's Halloween present, or a gift for somebody? They haven't got time to make it, but they want something really personalized and special. That's the problem that you're solving. So think about what problem it is that your products solve. Okay, for my training courses that I know a lot of you buy, they solve the problem. So my kitchen inspection course, for example, it solves the problem of I've got no idea how a kitchen inspection works or what to expect when I have one. Well, my course solves that problem because I tell you in that course exactly what to expect. Well, not exactly, because they're all slightly different, but I give you a really good idea. With my books, my food hygiene book, it solves the problem of having all your paperwork in one place. Because if you're anything like me, you're disorganized and you have bits of printout and photocopies all over the place. But my book solves the problem of being more efficient and getting it done efficiently. You see, so think what the problem is and how you solve it. And that's how you you approach your marketing of your things. So I've gone off track a little bit there. So you think about your 3 months. You then think about your month. Okay, so you've worked out your sort of overall 3-month plan. Then think about October. What are you going to do with October? Are you going to do Halloween at the end? Okay, so you might even be starting to do things now, but exactly what are you going to do? You know, what are you going to do next week to try and get Halloween orders? Are you just going to put up pictures of your Halloween treat boxes and sit there and twiddle your thumbs? No, you're not. You're not going to do that. What you're going to do is you're going to go into Facebook groups and you're going to start, you're going to search for people who are after Halloween gifts for their children. And you're going to be really helpful and say, oh, have you thought about treat boxes? You're going to go into Instagram accounts where your clients hang out, people that your clients follow, that your customers follow. And you're going to be commenting on these accounts and saying, oh, what lovely Halloween things there. What a lovely skeleton that is. I don't know, whatever it is. And you're going to make yourself known. You're going to make yourself visible. You've got to be visible with this. Can't hide away. Okay, you can't hide away. You've got to be seen. You've got to be visible. Ideally with your face. People buy from people. That may sound silly, but if people see a face, they're much more likely to buy. There are statistics about this. Don't ask me to quote them, but there are. So how are you going to approach next month? What are you going to do each week? What might you do each day? Now, I know lots of you have got full-time and part-time jobs. So this is where you can strategize a bit. You can say, okay, I work full-time on a Monday. I can't do anything on a Monday, but I either don't work Tuesday or I work half. So, okay, so I've got an hour on a Tuesday and I'm going to try and do it between this hour and this hour. I'm just going to sit and I'm going to go into Instagram or Facebook and I'm going to really get in there and try and, you know, get some momentum up for me. Okay. And if you do that 2 or 3 times a week, you're going to try and talk to people who might want your products. Okay. That kind of thing. I do have, and I've got it as a click thing on my blog. Sorry, my words are going now. I've got a monthly planner and a weekly planner. If you go to my blog at the end, if you sign up to my emails already, I'm going to be sending it in an email for you, so you don't need to worry. If you don't get my emails already, go to my blog, and at the end it'll have a sign up thing, and they will be sent to you. So it's a month. It's a sort of printable sheet where you can put all your bits and pieces on. Might be useful. It was kind of thing that I found useful when I first started a business, so I thought you might like it. So you've got your strategy of what you're going to do each week, down to what you're going to aim to do each day. And so by the end of the week, you will have engaged with so many Instagram accounts. You will have engaged in so many Facebook groups, for example. Local groups. Have you talked in local groups? Have you gone into local groups and searched, you know, Halloween, as we're talking about Halloween? What are people talking about? Are they talking about gifts? Go in there and start talking, making yourself known, that kind of thing. If your ideal client is someone who might be on TikTok, then go in there as well. I know lots of people do that as sort of a fun thing, but if you're talking about business things, it's only really worth doing TikTok if you think your kind of customer is going to be on there too. Otherwise, it's a fun thing to do, but it's not going to help your business. I know lots of business owners who go into LinkedIn because they get lots of their clients in there. I don't, because my clients don't go in there. You know, wedding couples don't go into LinkedIn. Not in that way anyway. They might go as a business person, but not as anyway. So I don't go in there. So and then you can start thinking about, if you've been thinking about other products, like you're going to run classes or you're going to write a recipe book or you're going to, whatever it is I talked about a couple of weeks ago, you can then plan into your monthly planners look at your overview. When are you going to launch this? When are you going to hopefully have it finished and ready? So if you're going to have it ready for the beginning of December, you might decide to make a recipe book for people to buy as Christmas presents. I don't know, John Med. In which case you have to have it ready by perhaps middle of November, so that you can get it up and you can get it uploaded and you can start marketing it. Okay, so you've got to work backwards from when you want things to happen. If you're going to have the idea to do classes, put some classes together, well, you've really got to, give yourself deadlines. Is it right? If it's in-person classes, by this time I'm going to look at all the venues that I might be using. By this time I'll have investigated all the insurance that I need. By this point I will have done my marketing graphics. I don't know. So, don't just sort of amble along and think, oh, I'll get that done tomorrow. I'll get that done. Have a deadline. In business, it's all about deadlines. It's all about getting things done. It's all about being efficient and knowing what you've got to do. Okay. What else? I'm reading my blog here to make sure I cover everything for you. And write it all down. Write your goals and your targets down. Because again, there are statistics, I'm sure, that prove this, that people that write them down are much more likely to get them. Yeah. There are times when I've just sort of thought, oh yeah, I'll aim for that. And, and then I sort of meander along and nothing really happens. If you have it on a piece of paper, it's real then. And it's, oh my gosh, yeah, I've got to try and do that. And you become accountable to yourself. Because that's the thing when you're a home baking business, more often than not, it's you on your own. You haven't got to be accountable to anybody. You're the boss. You haven't got people around you who say, have you done that yet? Have you done that yet? It's up to you. So you've got to have that sort of discipline. You've got to get into habits of doing things so that you can get your targets. You can get your targets fulfilled, if you like. So that's sort of it in a nutshell, really. Know where you're going. Think about that sort of the holiday analogy. Think, what the destination is and how you're going to get there. Which roads are you going to go down? What, you're going to fly, you're going to take the ferry, or you're going to drive. You get the gist, don't you? You get the gist. So know where you're going and plan out how you're going to get there. And so if you're not sure about any of those things, look at my other blogs, because they do give you a little bit more information. So things that I wish I'd known when I started my business. I know that I've got lots to learn. I really have. But I know now a lot more than I did when I first started. And if I can pass that on to others that are just starting, that's my aim. Try and keep your businesses going and get them really successful. So all of what I've just said is in my blog for this week. And as I said earlier, there'll be links everywhere for that in the group. I'll email to people that are emailed. It'll be on my socials. And hopefully we can get everybody really, really going with this. Because it does make me sad when I see people writing in the group, oh, I'm really think this isn't going to work. I'm really fed up with it. I'm really tired. I am currently, it has to be said, I'm really, really tired at the moment. Really tired. I am desperate for my holiday next week, because I think it's going to just let me switch off for a bit. I can't switch off completely, because you never can when you're self-employed, but it'll give me that little break, and then I'll be back the week after, bouncing back like zibbity. But you've got to have that determination. You've got to be proactive, and you've got to have a plan, have a strategy, so that you can map it out and you can see, as much as anything, when things go right, you can tick it off and go, oh, that's brilliant, I did that, that's wonderful. And that gives you that boost to go on to the next thing. And if things go wrong or you don't hit targets, you can think, right, why do I think that didn't work? What did I do? What shall I try differently next time? Let's hope that that works. And that's what you got to do. You've got to be a bit resilient. There we go. So that is it for this week, my lovelies. Thank you for joining me. It's nice to see you here. There will not be a Wednesday live next week because I'll be in Greece. It's 27 degrees over there now. I can't wait. But I will be back the following week. In fact, the following week, I think I'm going to have a Monday live, not a Wednesday one, because I've got the lovely Nicola Rowley coming in to talk to us about PR, getting visible, talked about getting visible, it's all to do with visibility. So there will be reminders in the group as to when that is. And I will see you then. So have a lovely couple of weeks, everybody. I shall have a lovely time. I dare say I'll put some things about where I am on my social media. So if you do follow me, you'll see. And yeah, happy baking. I will be in the group, by the way, even though I'm on holiday, I will pop into the group and check everyone's all right in there. So if you do have questions, you're very welcome. You're very welcome. If you do have questions, pop them in, tag me in. It might take me a little while to get there, but I will still be around. Okay. So have a lovely couple of weeks and I will see you. Oh, I will. Thank you. I will see you in a couple of weeks. All right. Toodaloo, everybody.